I guess the gentleman with the black shirt behind. Yeah, you're right there.
Okay. You said you were sick of zombies, and you said you've gone through graduation in high school like a ton of times already. Is there anything that anyone here is any trends in anime that you're totally sick of, that you just don't want to see anymore, that you think should die out? And is there anything that you want to see more of?
Oh, trends in anime that we're really sick of, and we don't want to see anymore, and something we would like to see more of?
Yeah.
Okay, I've been recently reading this book called Otaku, Japan's Database Animals. It's been actually really helpful for my column and my life, where they talk about the current sort of trend to make shows without a grand narrative behind them, just sort of like database, and it's a really different kind of, it's the checklist kind of show. So now I've kind of completely read those shows differently, but I do still but I think of those kind of as like otaku shows, like Japanese otaku aimed shows. I like the other kind of show, like the show that's more like with the old kind of regular narrative that appeals more to like Western audiences. I don't think I'm alone in that. So I want to see more of that. I would love to see more feature films, because animated feature films have a better budget, they have a better schedule, they're always often a higher production quality value. I don't care if it's based on a TV series or anything. Like, I like watching the features. Also, it takes much less time in my life, and I can watch something else as well.
The problem with the feature films is that a lot of times it seems to be, I think actually this is what you were telling me, Mike, when we saw Welcome to the Space Show, is that there isn't as much of an editorial eye, so they tend to turn out like way too long. Space Show is a great movie, but it's way too long. The Disappearance of Hadi Suzumiya is a fine movie, but it's way too long.
Welcome to the Space Show is a fantastic 90-minute movie that unfortunately takes about 2 hours and 10 minutes.
We just need to recut it. Like, I think it would be seriously improved. I would easily watch and recut.
You think that the Japanese companies are going to let the American?
No. But I'm like it's saying, just if someone puts that on, happens to them.
And it's funny because 10 years ago when I was just starting to be a really big anime fan, the idea of editing any anime would have been like, no, don't touch it, don't do anything to it. Now I'm just like, yeah, they need to cut about half an hour out of it. That would be good.
It's been my dream for years to recut Steam Boy and like redub it with a new plot and new characters.
They actually did edit that for the original.
Right.
Yeah, original.
One trend that I like and I would like to see more of is this is actually a real social trend in Japan. A lot of rural areas are dying out because the young people grow up and immediately move to the city. So you have these weird little villages where only old people live there, and the population is just slowly shrinking and disappearing. No one is like knocking the buildings down. This is something that's actually covered to a limited extent in Welcome to the Space Show. The kids live in this tiny town where there's only about 10 actual children. And there are other shows recently that have had episodes about it, like Shigokuri, which I recently watched. And I think it's an extremely fascinating aspect of Japanese society. I'd love to learn more about it, particularly now.
I actually kind of miss the direct-to-video stuff in the 90s. Basically, it was just a bunch of dumb violent crap. But the thing is, it was kind of enjoyable because it was short, and it was, at the very least, kind of fun to make fun of. Stuff like the whole MD guys thing by
Dark Warrior, yeah.
Dark Warrior, I'm talking about Dark Warrior. That's really big.
They dubbed it twice, man.
Soccer City 080. So, yeah, a lot of short, pulpy. Sometimes it's disturbing and wrong. But honestly, I prefer to. I prefer that to no end, to be honest.
But I really don't get a chance to say enough of in the column about television production schedules and budgets. Is like those OVAs from the 90s, they didn't air on TV, so they had like an infinite amount of time to make the product, and like just this 3 episodes was very viable, probably small package sort of budget. And now they're kind of locked into this system of like these package shows. They're like, it's either 13 episodes or 26 episodes. And I understand the pipeline, that they build this pipeline, they need to keep a new show in all the time. But like for a lot of series, like Restaurant Paradiso, for example, is like a 1-volume manga. It's a really good 1-volume manga. It's a really mediocre 12-episode show. Like, there's no reason for that show to be 12 episodes. It could be a wonderful 3-episode OVA. There are a lot of really short manga series that make great 3-episode OVAs, but the market for that just isn't there like it was in the 90s, which is really unfortunate.
Well, plus now they have all of these, because almost every series, I'm sure you've noticed, is now like 12 or 13 episodes instead of like 26 or 50 or something. So they have to fill in more of these little blocks. So a lot of shows, I think a lot of things are getting TV series that maybe that's not the best choice for.
Yeah.
Another thing that's not really getting noticed too much are some of the more things you call art films, like a Genius Party. I don't know if anybody saw that. That was actually a really interesting compilation film. They got a bunch of directors like the Cowboy Bebop guy, Masaki Yuasa, and they did a bunch of interesting things. and I don't think it's actually come out. These films just make the art house circuit here in America if we're lucky, and they never really see a DVD release because I guess the companies just aren't really interested.
Speaking of UASA, it's a sin and a shame that Mind Game is not available.
And Kaiba.
You know, I heard this.
I would go to
actually my game being on YouTube. They thought that it was already extensively pirated and they were to release it. That's true.
Well, I mean, they're probably half right. Have any of you seen Mind Game? Was it a pirated copy? Same here.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I'd still buy it if it came out.
Okay, picture?
My pleasure. Love that show. Wow, that's an excellent question.
What are our favorite English dubs? I'm still really fond of the Cowboy Bebop dub. I love the Sergeant Frog dub, and I cannot talk this up enough. Like, Sergeant Frog is already comedy, it's already funny. I love that they don't change the plot or anything. They leave all the jokes from the Japanese series in that are translated, and then they add another layer of jokes. Like, this show is pretty funny, but let's make it extra funny. And like, I also watch it, anyway, it's really, it's hilarious. They add a bunch of jokes directly to sort of the Funimation core, like, a buying audience. So jokes about tweeting and Nintendo Wii that aren't in the original. So that's a great show to watch dubbed.
My favorite dub is Angel Cop, actually. And it's part of this whole thing that Manga UK did when they would dub shows. And they figured that since it was already a violent piece of crap, they just decided to make it as profane as possible. So you got people rattling off 20,000 fuck yous in the space of a minute, and it's absolutely amazing to watch. But yeah, seriously, I guess.
My favorite dubs are, there were a series of wonderful Toei animated films from the 60s that were all dubbed by a company called Teacher in the 70s, including Puss in Boots, Animal Treasure Island, and Little Norse Prince Valiant. And these are all wonderful movies that were created by guys like Miyazaki and Takahata. And they were kind of dubbed quick and on the cheap, but the guy who dubbed them, a guy named Fred Ladd, who helped localize Gigantor and has been in the business for 40 years, just did it with a lot of care and a lot of attention to detail. All the roles are really well cast. It's all quick, zippy, funny stuff. You can get Animal Treasure Island and Puss in Boots on DVD, Discotheque. You should, because not Peter Fernandez, but Karina Orr, Jack Ryan, Jack Curtis, Lionel Wilson, the usual Speed Racer pit crew are all there. And but like I was saying, yeah, you can get some of these films on DVD, and you should, because they're going out of print and they're not coming back into print, folks.
Ray Switcher?
You mentioned that YouTube piracy is kind of cutting down on the amount of DVDs that are being published in America. I was wondering if there's a similar effect in Japan, just what the extent of the impact of piracy is.
In Japan, there are still CD chain stores. They still exist. There's a lot piracy is a problem in Japan, but from my perspective, hard media does a lot better there still than it does here. Yeah.
Especially with hardcore fans.
Yeah, I've had conversations with Japanese fans where the DVD of something will come out, it will cost about $100, which even in Japan that's completely ridiculous. And he'll be like, oh yeah, everyone was outraged about the high price, and then we all went and bought it anyway.
It could be the case that print media is just going out of style. Permanently. And there are people who